Two birds, two bats, and of course the colorful collection of crazy people. It's time of the year to do a budget video. I try to do them every 4 months, and it looks like it's been 6 or 7 since I've done one, so I'm overdue. The reason that I do budget videos repeatedly is I get asked to. We get a lot of new subscribers after 3 or 4 months, and so the majority of the questions that I get, recently at least, has been, hey man, I'm coming over there, can you tell me, I've got this much coming in on my pension, or I've got this much coming in on my Social Security or my rental property, do you think that'll suffice? I never can tell a guy how much it's going to cost him to live over here, because I don't know anything about him, or his lifestyle choices, or anything like that. So, I can just tell you what I spend. And as I always do in my budget videos, I'm going to just cut to the quick right away out of respect to your time. And then because you just want to hear the number, you want to hear what I spend it on, and then you want to bail out and do other things. Totally get it. So here we go. For the last 5 years, my budget has been somewhere between $1,500 and $1,700 a month. I pull it over all at one time, one shot, throw it in the bank, and then just drain from the ATM or go into the bank as I need the money. What do I spend it on? Well, as you can imagine, the rent is going to be the biggest number. My rent for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house, I've lived here for 1.5 years, and my rent in my 2 previous apartments has always been $400, and that's always included internet. So there you go. And on my calculations here, I'm using 50 pesos per dollar. That makes it simple math. I know the rate is higher than that right now, and when I first got here it was lower, so I think a fair number is 50. All right, so rent and internet is $400. Electricity, power I should say, runs about $60 a month. Again, I've paid as high as 100, I've paid as little as 20, but a realistic number for myself has just turned out to be running the aircon when I need it, and fans and lights and all that hoo-ha. $60. So here we are, we're at $460. Turns out that fuel for our motorbikes, May's got a bike and I've got a bike, runs about $40. So that makes it simple. We just rounded everything up to $500. Water and propane to run our stovetop is so small I don't even count it. The water is 20 pesos a month here in Valencia, so it's 40 cents. If you want me to throw that in, there you go. And then the stovetop deal runs off of a tank, and the tanks are $20, and one tank will last us 6 months. So there's $40 a year. So again, I just don't even factor it in. We're still at $500, aren't we? And then there's food. So to stock up the house, and when I say food, I should say food and incidentals. So you're going to have toothpaste, toilet paper, shampoo, soap, food, all that kind of stuff. Your sundries and your food for the house, what we spend, comes to about $400 a month. So we're at, $900 now. And I spend 15 to 17. Oh my, where does the rest go? Oh, one thing I forgot to throw in. About $400 a year for me to keep my visa up to date, renewed. And so I think that came, I figured at one time, to about $35 a month. So if you want to factor that in. So, food, stuff for the house, visa, rent, electricity is, let's just call it $900. And so if I'm spending 15, there's 600 left over. If I'm spending 17, there's 800 left over. And I can't really tell you where that goes. Because I think you'll agree, let's just call it $1,000, okay, $1,000 that we spend to live here. I probably have got a few things. where the 500 or the 700 goes is anybody's guess. So we just leave the house, and I don't know, maybe we pick up lunch, maybe I know I spend a lot of money on overpriced coffee. May always find something cute that she wants to wear at the Okai, and that costs $4 or $5 a crack, usually when we go in there. And so it kind of just gets nickeled and dimed, to be honest with you. We will do things if sometimes we've been reined in for like 3 or 4 days. We have spent nothing, and we haven't gone anywhere. And so I feel like we're kind of like one-day millionaires because we've got 4 days worth of expenses saved up. So we might just check into a hotel and do a little staycation, and just to sort of get a change of atmosphere. And we like to take people out to lunch here and there. Every month there's a friggin' party. Every month it's someone's freaking birthday. So we go to that. We either pick up the cake or we buy them a gift, and I'm not dismissing that. It's just that's what happens. So there you go. I mean, that's my budget, guys. I don't know how else I don't have one of those spreadsheets. I've seen guys do these videos where they knock down every nickel and penny, and God bless them, they keep receipts. I'm not that organized. All I know is that, and I've done it twice, if I needed to, I could live here and be fairly comfortable on $1,000. When I watched videos prior to coming out here, that's really what everybody's budget was. But back in the day, everybody's rent back then was like $200. So there was some wiggle room with that. That has gone up. Inflation has hit the Philippines, but it's really not affected me. It unfortunately has affected the locals a lot stronger. The price of gasoline has gone up tremendously since I first moved here. I think it's doubled. But again, we drive scooters. We don't go on big long trips. It's back and forth, up and down, around the corner. And so some months we might spend an extra $5 because we've been extra busy. But gas in the scooter to fill it up is, I don't know, 200 pesos is $5 for May's bike, and maybe $10 for my bike because it's a little bigger. And so, again, it's just not that negligible. And that's the budget video. Now, I've had some questions from guys about how do I do my taxes? And I want to get into Social Security and taxes also. So if you're still hanging in there with me, I'll go over some things that I know. Some guys are taxed on their Social Security. I'm not. I'm from Nevada. I think that there are 17 states. You can Google this, okay? Uncle Paulie's not going to do it all for you. But you can Google it. Some guys, this shocked me when I heard it, actually do get state income tax taken out of their Social Security, which I think is a crime. I mean, we've been paying our taxes for what, 30, 40, 50 years? Can't they give us a break here as we head towards the happy hunting ground and every dollar counts? So my home state was Nevada. It doesn't even have a state income tax, so my Social Security is exempt. I mean, what they give me is what they give me. One suggestion that I've made to a couple of guys on Messenger, and it was actually, a guy asked me this question and it made me think about it, and we discussed it and hashed it out, and then he checked into it and found out that it would be perfectly legit. If you are residing right now in one of the states that taxes your Social Security, you can actually, and let's just say you've decided you're going to make the move. You're going to move here. You're going to move out of the country. It may not be the Philippines, but it could be anywhere. And you're going to be relying on your Social Security as your primary income. Well, you're going to want to get the most bang for the buck. And trust me, I know you've earned it. So what this gentleman investigated and shared with me was, I think it was like a 6-month window where he changed his address to, I think, let's just call it Nevada, because they don't have state income tax. So So he's living in a state where they tax your Social Security. And then he just set up a forwarding address, a P.O. box, if you will, then became a resident of Nevada. I don't pretend to know the particulars on it. This is once again where you guys get to do your own research on Google instead of relying on Uncle Polly. But it's doable. And so you change from, I don't know, let's just say New York. I don't know if New York taxes you or not, but I'm going to use that as the example. And you just change your address now to Nevada, and maybe it's a 1 month waiting period, maybe it's 6 months, and you start receiving your mail there. And maybe you go, I don't know, maybe you go there and maybe you go there personally and get a driver's license. Again, Google it. But that will save you tons of money over, well, the balance of your lifetime, right? I mean, you're going to retire, you're going to pull your Social Security out, and from here on in, that's going to be your income unless you get a side hustle. And so that's one little tidbit that I've gotten from guys that I want to pass on to you. Taxes on your Social Security. I was shocked at this when people ask, what do you do about filing taxes? There's a guy here that, his name is Tim, and he was an IRS agent for years and way up the food chain. This guy was a big deal at the IRS. He's a friend of mine. And I asked him, I said, hey, what do I do to file my taxes? He goes, well, what's your income? And I said, Social Security. He says, you don't have to file taxes. And he was right. So for 62, 63, 64 years old, I didn't file any taxes. And then I started a YouTube channel, and by the age of 65, I started to receive AdSense money from YouTube, and now I needed to file taxes. So AdSense sent me a 1099 electronically, and Social Security always sends me a statement electronically. And so I just took those two statements that they emailed me and printed them out, and then I went on irs.gov and did their tax form, and I was able to combine the incomes, and they don't really tax it. They take 25% of my Social Security and add it in for some reason. But over the age of 65, which is, I'm 68, I can earn as much as I want without it affecting my Social Security check. Prior to that, 62, 63, 64, I think the threshold is somewhere between $19,000 and $21,000. It varies per year that you can earn before it affects your Social Security. So that's why if a guy has a job that's 63 years old and maybe he's cut down to part-time, he's working at Costco or something like that, and he's knocking down, $1,500 a month, and he can go ahead and collect his Social Security and not have to worry about it being affected. Once you move over here, and your Social Security is your primary income, and you do a side hustle, or if you're working online, maybe you're continuing to do something, you can do your taxes. I shouldn't say you. I do my taxes electronically. Again, I get a 1099 from AdSense from Google, and I get my statement from Social Security. I do a short form. I don't have any big write-offs or any fancy stuff, or I don't depreciate anything. It's not enough money to get excited about, so I just add it up, and then I owe a few dollars, and I electronically pay my taxes every year to the IRS. Next year, we're going to have an increase in our Social Security. I'm sure you've all heard that. It is December 5th, I believe. And so I'm going to get my Social Security check on December 14th this month. It'll be the same check I always get. And then next month, I will receive my COLA, cost of living adjustment, increase, which is about $200. I think it's $180. It's 8.7% of what I'm receiving now. So if you're currently receiving Social Security, you can take that number, you can multiply it times 8.7, and that should be how much more you're going to be receiving. So congratulations and good on you there. And then next year, our budget is going to change. There is no point in me getting into all the particulars on that because it hasn't happened yet. Right now, it's pretty much just conversation. But we are anticipating a move from our house to another location, and the rent is going to go up from $400 to $600. And I'm figuring that's a wash because of the COLA increase. So that shouldn't really affect the money that I'm able to save each month from the difference. Because my Social Security check is somewhere around, right now is somewhere around the neighborhood of $2,100 a month. So if I'm spending $1,500 to $1,700, you can do the math. And that's what I park, and I've been parking for the last 5 years. And then the AdSense money that I receive from YouTube, from all those annoying commercials that they make you endure, is that money, when it comes in, it just goes in the bank and I forget about it. Now, we have been able to, after 5 years of saving like that, May and I have been able to go on a trip or two. So we went to Thailand and we really enjoyed that, and that was just from saving money. And we plan some more trips in the future also. But again, we're going to be changing apartments. There's probably going to be a car in my future. That's going to affect the budget. But again, I don't want to get too deep into that right now because it hasn't happened yet. And so I'd rather speak about reality than, what I'm imagining. All right, guys. So I hope this video was informative, if nothing else. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye.